Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Savan Kirpal Ajaib Tera Sahara Mera sharan Tu mera prema Savan
We arrive now to the fourth episode of season 6. Here is with me Master Sirio. Welcome, dear Master.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Before beginning this episode, I would like to announce that if anyone hasn't yet seen online, our next program with Master Sirio is going to be in Malta at the end of February, on the 22 and 23 of February. So if you would like to meet Master Sirio in person, meditate together with him, listen to his Satsang, his words of wisdom, then you can do it next at Malta. And you can find further information at our website, which is siriosatsang.com, or you can just text me at the siriopodcast@gmail.com, and you can also send me any questions or anything you have to tell me about the podcast or whatever. You're most welcome. And also you're most welcome to give a like, a comment, feedback, anything on this podcast, because our only target is to share with you. So thanks for your support in staying with us. As I often mention that we have another podcast as well, the Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast, where you can find daily a new episode being published. If you want to try meditation practice with Master Sirio, then I think it's an excellent tool that you can follow. It sets one into a very nice mental condition, relaxed and smooth mind. Also, we have a very important event in February, which is the 6th of February, the birth anniversary of Master Kripa. So we are going to publish a satsang on that occasion. Dear Master, the other time we talked about it, what is the difference in between attachment and love? How should we be detached from life and from our loved ones, and how to live life? And so we had this long discourse, long talking on this topic. And then, interestingly, I talked with a lady, which brought me the next question, which is so strongly connected for me with this one, which we were talking about last time. She has a cat which she dearly loves, and this cat is not staying well. And it makes her sad, and even if she knows that how it is with animals, because we know it, animals don't live long. I mean, most of the time, in lucky case, animals do live shorter than human beings. We face this situation of losing these loved ones. It brought the question that we talked about being attached to our loved ones as human beings and being attached to our things, life. But how is it with the animals? So how should be our attachment to these animals? Because nowadays also there are the emotional support pets, and I mean, we know it, we also have animals here, so we know that one can really have love for a nice, lovely dog, or a cat, goat. And I mean, one can have, people also have snake or spider. I'm sure that one can love them also, because we should love everything in this world. But Master, what's your view on this thing? What should be our healthy attitude towards our animals? of whom we take care.
We are all made in a certain way. We all have certain kinds of emotions about everything. So each one, again, even about this topic, will have his own type of attachment, detachment, level of involvement, taking care. And it's right. It's right like this because we are all different and we all do things in a different way. I've had animals here. I'm here for 45 years, more maybe now, almost 46.
You mean the San Banias?
And in this place I've had many animals. I've had goats, sheep, cows, horse, cats, dogs, rabbits also. In my way, I am not a sentimental man. This is very clear. And, I have a certain degree of attachment and love for beings that come into my life. And while I'm dealing with them, I am supportive, I get involved, I like them, I play with them, I give them love, I joke with them. But when they get out of my life, I just let them go. I never mourn over the death of any of these animals which I had. In my way, it is like this. When you have something in your life, somebody in your life, any creature, take care of that being. Try to enjoy your time spent with this being and try to let them also enjoy their time. But then once they go, just let them go, because that's how life it is. We come into this world, we stay for a certain period in this world, and then we die, we go. Not just we human beings, not just animals, but anything undergoes these three stages: creation, maintenance, and destruction. One should be wise and not allow emotions to get too strong, because then once that something to which you are so emotional with gets out of your life, then you suffer too much. So nowadays I see many people being so attached to their animals. Mainly, people have what? Pets, like cats and dogs in their house. But mostly it is these two animals, cats and dogs. What has happened in the society in these last 50 years, let's say? Before it wasn't like this. I am 73 now, so I've seen all these changes in this society. Before, married couples had children, had 2-3 children. So they used to love so much their children and care about their children, and their life was just focused on their children. Maybe at the time also they had a cat, they had a dog, but they were not so important in their life because they had children. And children, of course, took the priority. They were the most important ones, and which is natural. But then, by and by, the society has been changing. Couples have been delivering less and less children. So much so that nowadays, many couples don't have any children. So the innate nature of us human beings is to love anyway somebody.
And to take care.
And to take care of somebody. So if you have children, that's where your attachment, care, and everything goes. If you don't have, then you have a cat. You spend time only with the cat, or you have a dog. And these beings become so predominant, become so deeply part of your life, and so many emotions and things are directed to them, and some to you also. This has become kind of, to my perception, from my point of view, it has become kind of pathological. Yeah. So this society, so much focused on animals of any kind, to me it's not normal, because we lack in our life what should be there, which is a continuation of ourselves. That's what children are. So we direct all of our emotions towards a cat or a dog. And of course, as you said, there are people who come to the point of saying better animals than human beings.
Yes, I knew somebody who said this, that she did prefer animals to humans because she saw humans to be bad and animals to be innocent or good.
Well, animals are not innocent. A dog, as soon as sees another dog, wants to jump on him and bite and fight.
Really depends.
Cats, I've had cats all my life here. They're all the time fighting with each other.
Yes, and cats are great killers.
So they're not better.
Yes, they are.
Yes,
like they have they don't spare anything.
If you see a cat dealing with a mouse, then you will see how good people these are.
Yeah.
Or any other small creature. Crickets, even flies, anything that moves, they are ready to jump on them and kill. At least human beings don't do it so right away. They do it. This killing and fighting and wars and everything, but not as much as the animals do. They do it much more. And moreover, it's in the nature of in the animal kingdom that the stronger one feeds himself, nourishes himself on the smaller ones. So that's how it goes. Human beings should be a little bit better, should be able to give up this killing in order to get food, to nourish oneself, because there are so many things which nature provides for human beings, by which you don't need to kill. You can survive even without killing.
Well, talking about animals came into my mind, recently we talked about gorillas. And gorillas, they are huge and very strong beings, and they are fully vegetarian. They don't harm anyone. They live their life according to their nature. They have family, and they don't harm no one. So anyway, let me go too far away with this topic. So how is it with our animals then?
So anyway, look, animals can teach us about this. Because if you see the goats, they have a baby. At the beginning, they clean them, they lick them, they give them milk and everything. By and by, less and less. And in 2 months' time, they don't give them milk anymore, not allowed to suck their milk anymore. They just push them away. Go, live your life. So they are much more wise than, in this sense, they are much more wise than us. Because life has several stages. And at some stage, we need to care and love and be attached to somebody. And then at some point, we have to let them go and live their life. So anyway, this is to be emotionally healthy to me. Otherwise, if everything becomes a source of mourning and suffering because they get out of our life, then what are we? We are so emotionally weak. We are so unstable. We are not able to focus ourselves on our life and be happy with it and have enough of it. We need everything. We need everybody. Objects, animals, this and that, children. It's okay. As far as these beings are in our life, we take care of them. But once they go go their way. That's my approach. And it's not that I build it up because I don't want to suffer. It's natural for me.
Yes, I thought that some people might think that it's like a self-defense, to not be attached, to not suffer.
No, that's not the way. That's not my way. My way is that once somebody goes out of my life, even human beings. I've had parents, they both died. I didn't go through emotional, psychological crisis so much that I needed to go maybe for help to any psychiatrist or psychologist. They went, I let them go. Yes, the beginning you miss a bit because they were part of your life, but then they go and you let them go in peace, because that's the way it should be anyway. This attachment for people who are important in our, like parents, partners, children, friends, it's not good for us to suffer too much and pull them down to the earth through our emotions, because that's how it goes. When somebody dies and you have these very strong emotions for that person, it's difficult for the person to leave this world and go where she is supposed to go.
Yes, that was the other question which I wanted to ask you, that if we are sorry about, of course, the loss of an animal that we love, but then we talked about in the previous episode about attachment to the people, but where does this attachment end? So what happens when our loved ones die?
Yeah, when our loved ones die, we should let them go in peace and say, please, just go your way, follow your destiny, just go where you're supposed to talk and to go and where they will take you, because there is already somebody once we leave this world that will take us somewhere. Can be a master, can be somebody that we understand to be God, but can also be our family members who have left this world, like our parents, our grandparents. They can also guide us. So when somebody dies, the wise attitude is that of saying, just go, don't stay attached to me or to any of us, just go. That's why Kabir used to say, when we die, we should go in a place where there is nobody that we know, where nobody knows us. Better to die alone, far away from everybody. In the past, in the society, in the past, ancient society, when somebody began to feel very bad and understanding that the end was coming near, they will just separate from family, from clan, from village where they were living, and just go somewhere alone and die there, because that's the best way of dying, without any attachment for anybody.
Yes, that's true, that there was this phenomenon that people, when they felt to arrive their end, they greeted their family members and they said that they go away. They gave their blessing to the family and gave out what they wanted to give, and they just went away.
Yeah. Beside this, even if this doesn't happen, that the person who dies in the house, in the family, or anywhere nowadays, in the hospital, many people die. Anyway, it's very good that only people who practice meditation be near the people who are dying, and not the people, ordinary people, because they bring out all these emotions, all this crying, weeping, and grabbing the person, not wanting the person to go. That's very harmful for the person leaving this world. Should be there people who support, maybe singing bhajan, maybe doing simran. That's very helpful for the person dying, because this practice, singing the bhajans, repeating the mantra, creates a conductive atmosphere, a helpful atmosphere for the person dying. And should be only people who are able to control their emotions, and not people who are so desperately attached to the person going. It's not good, neither for the person who stays, nor for the person who goes.
It's interesting when you mention this fact of the ancient society, people going away, people living before dying. That's how animals behave.
Yes.
They don't like, I don't know how dogs do this, but cats definitely do like this, that we know it when a cat is going to die, begins to disappear. Maybe we don't see for a few days and comes back. Just sometimes, very often I witnessed with cats that they just come back for the last time. They come back to greet and you never see them again. And maybe then you find them dead somewhere.
Yes.
And
yes,
also when our really loved cat, Mandika, died, I took her in the house and she was not happy with it. And then I had to put her under something covered to let her die in peace. They want to die alone. They want to die in peace.
Yes. Yeah. So that's my understanding. Should be always balanced, healthy attitudes towards everything, whether they are animals or they are our loved ones, members of our family, our friends. It's always very good to keep watch over our emotions, to keep them under control and not exaggerate, because then it's suffering for the person staying and for the person going. So as I said, in my life, I had my father. The first person who died in my life was my father, and I was 20 years old, not even 20 when he died. Yes, I mean, I can say I had no emotions when he died. I had very strong emotions. I really realized what a good man he had been, how good he had done for all his children, how much good he had done for all his children, for the family, and so forth. I really saw and connected with his very good side only. I didn't remember anything, let's say, bad which he might have done. I only remember the good side of his life, of his person. But he went, and I was in peace with it.
Well, you were not on the path at the time.
Yes, I was not on the path. So I can say that death of my father was the one occasion in which I suffered the most, because I was not yet on the path. I didn't have this awareness. Then Master Kirpal died. That's another type of love, that's another type of relation, that's another type of attachment. Because parents give you life, give you care and food and whatever is needed for life, but Master gives you so much more. That's my understanding, that's my experience. So my attachment and my love for Master Kirpal was so much more than any love I've had in my life up to that point. My mother, my father, friends, and this and that. So when he died, I really suffered a lot. I was really emotionally shaken. I was really desperate, because what I had gotten from him, I had never gotten it from anything and anybody. I can say it was also, it could be an egoistic kind of love, because from him I got so much, so I would like him to stay and
keep giving.
And keep pouring on me all these blessings. But he left, and then I was desperate because where will I get this again? From whom?
So
where will I find another person like this?
So you were not sorry for him, but for yourself, that he went and you stayed there.
Well, it's not exactly like this, both the ways. I was sorry because he went, and I was sorry because this very important being that came in my life right away after 1 year and a half left this world. So I was very desperate. Then Sanji, I had 20 years relation with Sanji. I became very attached to him. He was my master, he was my father, my elder brother, my good friend. He was the main person in my life. Although I had a wife, I had a daughter, but the love I had for him was no comparison with my wife and with my daughter. So when he left this world, I also suffered a lot, but not as much as when Master Kirpal left the body. Because, now 25 years had passed, and I was more emotionally stable. I learned a lot on the path and from him.
Well, you were also not so young anymore.
I was not so young anymore, and I knew that most of the work which needed to be done with me spiritually in relation with the master, it had been done, and now I had to walk on my own. So it was a completely different level of consciousness and level of involvement. So with him it was like this. It was a lot of missing and weeping. I went on weeping for hours and hours. I couldn't stop. But I didn't feel as devastated as I felt when Master Kirpal left the body. Then I had my mother. She left the body, and she died, and I loved her very much. She had been such a good mom, really, a holy mom. Yet I was so caught when she left this world. I really saw her being in such a very deep samadhi, in such a very deep, let's say, connection with the divine power, that the only thing I could do when I found myself in front of her body, dead body, it was just going very deep into meditation. I closed my eyes standing there and I really connected with her and I went in a very deep meditation.
She also was initiated by Sanji.
Yes, she was initiated. She had been practicing meditation for
She even went to India with you.
many years of her life, and she was such a very good person. Anyway, my relatives, my family members, they were so amazed at how I reacted when I found myself in front of her body, dead body. So then I've had a wife who has left this world. I've had many Satsangi friends who have left this world, and in each of these occasions, I've had such beautiful and wonderful experiences because I really connect with the person living this world. And I really get into that state of consciousness in which they are. So it's always bliss. It's always beatitude. It's always intoxication and supreme love. That's how it is when a person leaves this world. Even people who are not satsangis, neighbors, members of family, of friends of ours who have left this world, whenever I find myself with these people, leaving the body, it's always supreme bliss. Why should we be desperate about the death of anybody? We should just be so happy. I'm kind of jealous when somebody dies because I would like to be in their place and be in that state of supreme bliss in full communion with God. So that is supreme bliss. That's what it is. And we should be happy when somebody leaves this world. Whether he's a human being, he, a human being, or a dog, or a cat, especially these, our pets, which are in the life of satsangis, those who live a spiritual life and do spiritual practice, they advance so much spiritually, in their consciousness. So that at least when they leave this world, if they come back, they will come back in a human body.
Yes, the proof is, I'm joking a little bit. We recently published the mantra, the Om Namo mantra, the heartbeat of the universe. And if you watch that video on YouTube, there is our doggy Shantu, who is always with us. There is a part also when he just sits in front of me, and when I look at this video, also just for that moment when the dog sits in front of me and looks at me and I sing, like he looks so smartly at me that it's just so sweet. He's really absorbing this kind of vibration.
Yes, of course, they are sensitive and they feel it. They feel especially the love and the good atmosphere. And they enjoy it as much as they suffer when you mistreat them or shout at them and so on and so forth.
There was a question which stayed in my mind. We mentioned again the animals. We have some neighbors who have animals, and here in the area it's very common that if you have animals, you have them also to eat them, because we are vegetarian, so we don't eat our animals. We love them and care for them, which also doesn't mean that our neighbors don't love and care for their animals. And I wanted to always ask this from you. There is a shepherd from whom I ask always advice when I need to know something more specific about how to treat the goats or some issues. And he always tells me he knows everything about animals. He was born among the animals. He grew up with them, and his father the same, his grandfather and great-grandfather, and everybody saw that they are, I don't know, forever shepherds. He talks so tenderly about these animals. He really loves his animals, He's attached to them. But when then the small goats or small lambs are born, then he cuts their throat and then eats them. And then they prepare lots of things from them, which is really, you need to be very tough to be able to do that. How can you do that? Also, just recently were born 2 small goats at us, and we gave them names. They are called Star and Orion. I just can't understand when they are so beautiful. I understand that one shouldn't be sentimentalist, but this also doesn't seem to me the healthy equilibrium that I love my animals, but when I need them, I cut them, because somehow it lacks something. I don't know if respect is the right word, but maybe you could explain it better. How is it?
Well, it's a cultural fact, in this society, among eat-meaters, who are the most in this world, most of the people eat meat, they understand that animals are made for human beings to eat. So, yes, as far as they are alive, maybe I treat them good, I love them, take care of them, but when the time comes, I just kill them and eat them. So, this shift, from this is interesting. This shift from being loving to them, caring about them, and then killing them. This to me, it's it's mind-blowing, really. I don't understand how can one do this?
Yes,
how
but
may one do this?
Why I ask you is the most surprising that is not that this person, because of whom I mentioned it, because of course I am in the most near relationship with animals, about animals with him. So I see him directly, and it's not that he minds about the animals because they have to grow big and fat and well to be eaten. No, he really loves them. He caresses them. When they get sick, he cures them. He really does mind about them. But when the time is over or there is a problem like that goat really keeps behaving not good, then just so I mean the problem solved.
But that's also habit, isn't it? I mean, you have this habit at some point you have to kill these animals, and for them, maybe the first time they kill, it's a bit of emotional involvement, it's a bit of uneasiness, but once, twice, three, then it's just normal.
Well,
it's like with human beings who kill other human beings. Maybe the first time it's a shock, but the second time it's a less shock, and then you can kill hundreds of them.
Well, it's a sad thing that one can get used to death in this way, like a violent death. Huh?
Yeah, look at wars. Look at these wars which are going on. They are slaughtering people like anything. Like really, if they were carrots or vegetables, cutting them in pieces. We can get used to everything,
It's very sad. There are some who very much send now this information that there is a movement that Italy refuses the war, and we have to stop the war education of children. That how come that sometimes military people go to make presentation in the school or police or these and that things, or children can touch weapons and things. And I never did really consider it deeply. How is it? Because I have a son, he's a boy, and then, boys like to play when they're small with the sports and these things and play Far West or arrows and just playing. Then one doesn't consider these things, but now mentioning this shepherd, probably for him it's just nothing to kill an animal, to see blood, to shed the blood.
He saw his grandfather doing it, he saw his father doing it, and
yes, that probably he saw it when he was a small child. Yeah. So for him, seeing this scene is just normal. So probably things begin at the right education.
That's right. Yes.
Because I was also thinking, that so then we said also in this podcast so many times that the golden mean, the midway, is the best, always in everything, to stay in equilibrium. Even in our spiritual practice, you said it, that in everything, the equilibrium, the midway, is the most healthy. And I was thinking sometimes, talking about death, violence, war to children, is it good or no? Because on the one hand, I was reading this information in the group, and I also thought a little bit that, okay, we can't do like the ostrich does, that we push our head under the sand so that what I don't see doesn't exist, but still it does exist. Then if we educate our children in a non-real way to not see things which are real and they are really there in life, then we are distorting their vision somehow. So in this, what is the midway? Because if you don't talk about war, it doesn't mean that war doesn't exist. Somehow we should, I believe, teach them the capacity of discriminating.
Well, we may teach them something, but then they pick up so many things from their interaction in life, like in the school, friends, this and that. So it's not just what we teach. Anyway, they will come to know about wars, they will come to know about every possible thing, because in the schools they teach all these things. Parents should try, according to their culture, according to their beliefs, they should try to teach the children accordingly. And then anyway, they will become what they're meant to become, because anyway, they don't just deal with parents. They don't just spend time with parents. They don't just pick up information from their parents. They pick up information from so many sides. And anyway, they have their destiny, and they will become the person that they are meant to become.
Well, but also in a way it's right that they learn history, they learn about wars and all these things, because we can also learn from the mistakes of the past. And if we can know how things went in the past, then we can maybe avoid mistakes of the future.
It doesn't seem that we learn so much.
No,
we keep doing the same things more
yes,
or less.
Actually, I was also thinking,
even in a much more cruel way.
At the same time, I was also thinking that there is I don't know if you say it in Italy, but in Hungary we say that the history repeats itself. History always repeats itself. So it's very interesting, like a vicious cycle. Going back to the original topic about being attached to our loved ones at the moment of dying, if we said that children can get used to death, children can get used to blood, as I talked about this shepherd, or violence, or war things, or weapons, but then maybe should we educate our children talking about death or leaving this world? Because maybe they can also, because as you said that when you were not even 20 years old, you lost your father and you felt shaken, the most shaken by his death than all the other things after, because of course then you had this experience with your father, then with Master Kripal, and then other friends, Satsangis, so on. So then maybe also as, okay, of course one grows older, then gets more mature, but it also does mean that we meet death more times. We experience this, we go through it. Maybe we could also educate, or should educate our children, or we should also educate ourselves by and by to get to the point that when we have to face such a loss, to be ready, and maybe that could make things easier. What do you think?
Yes, why not? One should talk about that, because for most of the people it's a taboo, that. If you mention that, let's say, well, let's change our topic, or let's touch iron, they say in Italy. I don't know if they say it elsewhere. It's a taboo. We don't talk about this. No, it's not a taboo. Death is part of life. We are born, we live, we die. So yes, in the family, if somebody has children, should talk about this topic and make the children grow up in the understanding that it's a normal something. We live this world, but life doesn't end. Life continues. It's not a problem. Actually, living this world, it's going for holidays. It's a beautiful event. It's not a terrible event. You should not be afraid of that. And moreover, don't think that with that everything ends. Nothing ends, because life is a continuous phenomenon. It's an endless phenomenon. Never begins, never ends. This is what we should teach our children.
It's interesting that everything is multi-sided. We also talked about it. Sometimes you mentioned meditation is the process of learning to die while we are alive. And also you say that through the meditation practice, by and by, we dive deeper into meditation, that we have to make ourselves used also on the physical and mental level to be in touch with such a power, like the divine light and the divine sound, the God into expression power. Because if we just jump into it, it's like jumping into the fire, fused. And if we get ourselves used to it, if we make ourselves used to it by and by, then we know it. And also if we make ourselves used to it while we are alive, at the moment of death, when we merge into the light, we are not shaken, and then we can better take this inner journey. The same way is that we have to prepare ourselves when we have to face this moment. But on the other hand, on the other side, there are maybe our children, or others who have children, that we have to prepare them as well, that they have to understand that when this moment comes, that we are prepared, and they also have to be prepared.
Yes, of course. This should be part of the daily living, of the habits that we have, the practice that we do. So get ready to die. Learn to die while living. Learn to leave the body while you are in the body. Because then, Master Kripal used to say, the sting of death is taken away. And when you die, you won't suffer. you will welcome this passage with an open heart, ready to go, with no attachment, with no bindings to anything, and just ready to go.
Thank you very much, dear Master, to share all these wisdom with us. And the next episode, as always, comes after 2 weeks. As I mentioned, don't forget there is going to be the program with Master Sirio in Malta. So if you're interested, look for SirioSatsang.com website and find all the information, or message me about anything at the SirioPodcast@gmail.com. Listen to the Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast, and may you be all blessed. And now we can listen to this beautiful mantra sang by Master Sirio, dedicated to his masters. Thank you, dear Master.
May God bless us all.
Savan kirpal ajaib tera sahara mera sharan मेरा शरण तुम मेरा प्रेम सावन किरपाल आजाई तेरा सहारा मेरा शरण तुम मेरा प्रेम तुम मेरा प्रेम तुम मेरा प्रेम